years sober. Now, when I was on Hollywood Boulevard and I was homeless, and I had a great job in the television industry before I was homeless, so it can happen to anybody. But you would have crossed the street. If you saw me, I was that wasted on drugs. I was that much of a crazy person that you would have crossed the street. One of the hardest things for people that don't do drugs to understand is it takes over your life. There's a point where you no longer have the reason and the ability to get off by yourself. And proof of that, and something that was unique and new to me, I know I've been to Alaska and some different places where people were drinking Listerine and dying, but here they're drinking hand sanitizer. I mean, if you're drinking hand sanitizer, your mind has lost any reason. You're now going for that fix, that alcohol, that drug. And Cameron brings up some great points. He wants to get off. But the system is all Mickey Moused. You know, I'm going to speak as a case manager. I work as a case manager in a homeless shelter in Los Angeles during the wintertime. And it's very similar. And again, it's a North American problem, is that I can get somebody off the streets into a rehab because they want to get off the drugs. But then when I get them off the 30-day rehab, there's no housing for them. So I drive them back to a park where within a day or two, they start doing drugs again because homeless sucks. You know what I mean? And we need to fix that. Now, I know the Calgary Homeless Foundation and some other cities are working on some programs that do that because it needs to be connected. I mean, Cameron, this is one of the most powerful interviews I've ever recorded, where he talks about system failures, and then you know, we call it, you know, gaps in the safety net. And I really believe that if you can name something, then fix it. So we have this continuum of care, and then we have gaps in the safety net. Well, let's get rid of those gaps. Let's help people, because see, drug addiction is a result. It's not a cause. So it is a cause of homelessness, but then again, I mean, there's something deep down that somebody started using drugs. And that has to be addressed, but it takes time. You don't repair 10, 20 years of drug abuse in 7-day programs. You can't. Here, I met somebody yesterday, or the day before, no, yesterday, who had been through all the shelters in Canada. He has mental illness and drug addiction and keeps on doing the same old thing. And we're not there. We don't look and go, oh my gosh, we're failing this person. We've got to change. We've got to catch him. He's fallen through the gap of our safety net. We need to help him.
Well, prior to coming to the hospital, I was an IV drug user. And basically it was everything that I lived for. So, me and my fiance never looked for a home because all that was on our mind was how are we going to get our next fix from when we woke up till we went to bed. And we had nothing. Like, we had no place to live. We had people that would abandon us and just let us go wander around in the streets. A lot of nights we didn't sleep because we didn't have a place to sleep. We finally eventually got some blankets and started sleeping under a tree. And then it was like there's bugs everywhere and it was just gross.
And you said you were homeless since you were 14?
Yeah, since I was 14 I've been transient in and out of like institutions because of the homelessness. I kind of got used to living in jail because I had food to eat, I had a place to sleep, and when I did get out, I wouldn't have a place to go to, so I'd end up back on the street again, and like we'd be sleeping in stairwells or wherever we can. In the winter was the worst because it'd be -50 and we'd be so tired, we'd have to like try and get warm and sleep in the stairwell somehow.
When Rhoda gets out of the hospital, this is her home. She's dying. She has HIV. She's 27. She's been homeless since 14. She was just a wonderful girl, and she wanted us to see where she was living. And she wanted some Tim Hortons, so I was able to help her with both. And it just really broke my heart. But again, And there's a couple of things that she's talking about is, you know, one, she's in and out of the system. I mean, nobody should look forward to jail because there's food and a place to sleep. I mean, oh my gosh. And again, here, you know, you go back to Amy and all these, and they all kind of tie together. I picked these on purpose because really in each one of these videos, you're going to see a theme that there are solutions that we need to work out. And if this is not to point fingers at anybody, you know what I mean? This is to find solutions. You know, system failures, if we make a mistake, we just fix it. It's not that we're bad people. We're just got to learn. We've got to change. She was a really, really amazing woman. She's, but my heart broke. In the video, she talks about that her grandmother's going to take her. I hope that happened. But I've been doing this a long time, and chances are that she's probably back behind the Ramada Inn, living in that little wooded area.
The only problem with that is the police usually come by and they bother you. They'll give you tickets for encumbering the sidewalk. Panhandling these days is becoming rough. I mean, a lot of people either view it as wrong, or maybe they don't have the change, or they're just scared or don't know what to do. The police don't help with that at all. They give tickets that are meaningless because they know that we can't pay the ticket.
Right.
You know?
Makes no sense.
I mean, 2 days ago I've got a ticket for just standing here at the 7-Eleven for encumbering the sidewalk, even though I was standing.
How much is the ticket?
$125.
And how are you going to pay that?
I can't pay it.
So then you get another ticket.
That's right. You know, and eventually you get court summons, and then you have to go to court. And if you forget to go to court, or there's another thing you got to do, you know, I missed housing appointments just because I had warrants. You know,
Wow.
my last housing appointment that I had, I was supposed to move in that day. So that morning I was making a little change for breakfast, and the police came by because, you know, I guess we're criminals in their mind, and arrested me because I missed court and had to commit a warrant. I was in jail for all of 2 days, and unfortunately that 2 days I lost my opportunity to move into subsidized housing.
Wow. I'm seeing this more and more. I saw it in several Canadian communities where the solution, the community feels the solution to panhandling is criminalization of homelessness. I'm sorry, that makes absolutely no sense. Because when you put somebody in jail, it can be as much as $250 a day, and you're paying for that. So, I mean, here, he got a ticket for panhandling for $125. He has no income. What's he going to do to pay the ticket? Panhandle to get another ticket so that he ends up in jail so that you all pay for it. So the solution to ending panhandling is ending homelessness. It's kind of really kind of disturbing, though, as I've been traveling, and it's not just here in St. John's. It's happening more and more, is that you have low-income people out there panhandling because they're in housing, and you know, often maybe it's subsidized, so they're paying $400 a month for rent, but then they only get $100. That's $25 a week for food. I know in some communities, like in Vancouver, they're actually going out and feeding people that are in the SRO, single room occupancy. And there's another area that you have to look at is being able to find solutions for people that are in housing. But the criminalization of homelessness is not a solution. Ending homelessness and getting them off the streets, saving lives and saving money is a solution. You're homeless going to college. Tell me about it.
I didn't originally start out as being homeless. I went to stay at a relative's, and I was supposed to stay there for a year, and because of their addictions I had to leave. My grades were falling, and then I ended up leaving in the middle of the winter in November and slept under the Osborne Bridge with a group of people I met. And still kept coming to CDI.
So you were in college when this all happened?
When this all happened. And I stayed at a friend's for 5 days, and then they had their drinking binge, and then I ended up leaving because of that. I was out in the cold, and I went to Siloam Mission. And And from there, I networked with my class, and eventually I put myself on Facebook with that problem, and a friend who knew me offered her home to me, and that's where my couch surfing started. So from then till now, I've had 7 different coaches, and without the support of the school and the students, I don't really think where I'd be right now. Probably sitting outside Siloam on a bag. I was walking around with just a backpack, and different friends were storing my books and my extra clothes. And I learned to go to the soup kitchens in the morning and then again at lunch, and I'd find a meal in the evening, 2 of them at Siloam and 1 at Agape table here in Winnipeg. And on the weekends it was really hard because I had to make money somehow, so I sold cans, and I've never done anything illegal to this point. But you can find a lot of cans in Winnipeg, and that's how I was making the money to live.
What are you taking at CDI College?
I'm taking addictions and community services.
Awesome. And an awesome smile. I love your smile. When do you graduate?
It's set for December 4th.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. I'm 6 weeks away from practicum.
Awesome.
So
this one, Alma, gosh, look at the smile, is very encouraging. Alma actually ended up losing the 7th couch and ended up on an 8th couch. She goes on to say some of them weren't actually couches, but floors. But now she is in housing. Somebody hooked her up with a more permanent situation. And if you watch the video, I only took a little bit for time, a little bit of each video. She actually, her granddaughter was taken by Child Protective Custody on the reserves. So what she decided to do was go educate herself to get a better life, and then she's going to go back to the reserves and get her granddaughter back. I mean, I was up in Yellowknife and Whitehorse and Yukon, Northwest Territories. 95% of the kids in Child Protective Services are Aboriginal. That's horrible. That's horrible. Horrible. We got to do something. There has to be some healing there from the residential schools and from everything else. And it's something that we can no longer look away at. You just really have to really start embracing it. But I'm ending with Alma because I like to end with good and positive stories. And she was an encouragement to me. It was definitely, I was there speaking at CDI College because they have now created a scholarship both in Calgary and Winnipeg because of the road trip for homeless people to get a full ride scholarship. Back in the States, there was a farmer that donated 40 acres of land to feed low-income people, and I was like, how could that ever be beaten? Well, you Canadians beat us again, because, I mean, that's just so awesome that, here I was speaking at the college, and it was homeless people after homeless people coming up and talking to me, and, I mean, there was literally 3 that night, and then behind the scenes, after I interviewed Alma, there was a young boy that was his first, well, young, I mean, to me, I'm a dinosaur, but it was his first night homeless, and Alma was trying to help him find services. Those are touch points that we don't think about, that where there's a lot of homeless people, and that we need to find solutions, because here's homeless people that are trying to get they're doing, I mean, look, 7, 8 couches, grandmother going to school. Oh my gosh, how can we help them help themselves to get to a better life? That's truly amazing. And so that's really cool. Scholarship to homeless people. A couple other CDI colleges are thinking about it. But the most amazing thing, if you look at Calgary and you look at Edmonton and a few other communities, Calgary has housed 2,900 homeless people in the last 2 years, Edmonton 1,400, and there's other communities too. They're using something called the 10-year plan to end homelessness. And I will be the first to admit that I've been balking about the 10-year plan for a long time, and because I'm from the States. It originated out of Washington, D.C., and it was championed by the National Alliance to End Homelessness. In some communities it worked, but it didn't really take hold. It really, and here in Canada, you guys grabbed it and basically thumbed your nose at us and saying, we're going to make it work. This is really cool. I mean, the Calgary Foundation to End Homelessness has a countdown clock on their website and in their lobby to the day that they're going to be laid off. I mean, that's gutsy. I mean,